Welcome to the session on the coaching cycle process, platform, and observations. Before we begin, we want to make sure that you are aware of what materials you'll need for today. You will need paper, writing tools, erasers, and definitely you will need some type of electronic your phone, if necessary, and of course, you'll have the screen here where you can see what we're doing. Here are our learning goals for today. Educators will be able to identify the PLA coaching cycle platform, process, and effective engagement strategies, and generate ideas and observe a classroom lesson and provide feedback, a glow and a grow, to enhance scholar participation and collaboration. Now let's look at the coaching cycle. This is our platform that you will be accessing, and you will get information to be able to log on to this. So before, we want to make sure that you are able to know what this is. So the coaching cycles are non-punitive observations and an opportunity for real-time feedback. We want to make sure that you know that when an administrator goes in to observe, it is not punitive. This is a time where they are going in so they can take some notes and be able to help you as a teacher grow as a teacher. Observations are conducted by the principal, assistant principal, the dean of culture and climate, or an instructional coach. There will be times that members of the academic national team may join them. The observations are unannounced, and they help you, the teacher, continue growing in your teaching craft. And a coaching conversation will follow each observation within 48 hours, and this should be a safe place for teachers to seek feedback and ask for suggestions. The PLA coaching cycle platform includes 11 domains or focused areas of observation based on Charlotte Danielson's framework. You will see on this slide the 11 domains. Important to note is that you will not be observed on all the domains. You will only be observed on the domains that apply to you. For instance, if you are a reading interventionist, you'll be observed on reading advantage. That will not be the case for a regular classroom teacher. So it just depends on what you are teaching, and that will determine what domains you'll be observed on. Each domain has a performance level descriptor rubric to assist in the observation cycles to help your leaders calibrate during the process. You will be receiving this rubric, so that way you will be aware of what is expected of you. So let's learn about the steps of the coaching cycle process. We're going to go through each one of them. Step one. So the first step of the coaching cycle is an observation. The leader is looking for evidence of best practices being in place, and each observation should take about 10 to 12 minutes. Step two, the second step of the cycle is to have a coaching conversation between the teacher and the coach. And if you recall earlier, I said that you will have that between after the conversation up to 48 hours. After the coaching observation, I apologize, up to 48 hours. Step three is for the coach to provide positive feedback to you, the teacher, and create a bite-sized goal together. As you recall, I mentioned before that this is a non-punitive observation. What it is, in fact, is the opportunity to grow as a teacher. And so together you'll create that bite-sized goal. Step 4 is a toolbox of strategies and resources for each coaching area are available for the coach to share with the teachers for support. So you'll receive some available resources to help you continue to grow as a teacher. And step 5, which is the final step before the cycle repeats itself, is a follow-up observation from the same domain so the teacher can show their growth. The whole process of the coaching cycle is captured through an online platform specific to PLA. This is what the main screen looks like when you log in. The platform is used by the leader to log the observation. Once the leader submits the observation, you will receive an email, and you should then receive a coaching conversation in the next 48 hours. We will provide the login for you to get on the coaching cycle. Now we're going to create our classroom observation note-taking guide. First, make sure you have a piece of paper, a lined notebook piece of paper, and you need to make a T-chart just as you see on the screen. Second, you're going to write the word teacher on the left side of the T-chart and the question, what is the teacher doing? And you can see that here on the slide. Then you're going to write students or scholars on the right side and what are students doing or scholars doing. During the classroom observation, we will observe the strategies that the teacher uses to facilitate learning. And observe how the scholars respond to the strategies and techniques used to guide their learning process. Now you're going to draw a line on your note-taking guide to represent exact scholar participation count and ratio. Here is where we will be able to document how many scholars were able to participate during a specific segment of learning. You will be asked to share your thoughts about the following 3 questions. Number 1, what should scholar engagement look, feel, sound like? What are some of the look-fors? You'll have 10 seconds of individual think time and then 30 seconds to turn and talk with the person closest to you. So get ready to think and then talk first if you have the most pets at home. All right, I'm going to put the timer on for you. What should scholar engagement look, feel, and sound like? What are some look-fors? First person to talk is the one who has the most pets at home. Go. All right, now we're going to do another activity called a stand-up, hand-up, pair-up with a new person as you respond to question number 2, which is, what is one engagement strategy used to enhance participation or collaboration? You're going to have 10 seconds to stand up, hand up, and pair up. So it's going to be quick. And then you'll have 30 seconds to share your thinking with your partner. The tallest person will begin talking first. All right, once I say it's time to go, quickly, 10 seconds, go find your partner and start sharing the response to the question. Ready, set, go. Now it's time to start sharing. This time I'll leave the 30-second timer to continue. You will do that for sure as you are presenting. All right. Now stop. We're going to do a mixed pair with a new pair and share. So what that means is that you and your partner will partner up with another pair and you will do a mixed pair share. All right. And you're going to respond to question number 3, which is, what is one engagement tool used to enhance participation or collaboration? You're going to have 10 seconds to mix around the room and pair up with another group. After you share and the timer stops, please stretch the discussion and come to a consensus. Once you do, thank your partner and return to your seat. All right. Are we ready? Set, go. All right. Get started and talk with each other. All right. What you're going to do now, find consensus and agree. I notice that we agree with, both pairs agree with, return to your seat once you're finished. Quickly find consensus and then go return to your seat. If you are doing this remotely, then this is the slide you should use. This is for the virtual school. All right. Let's find out what engagement. According to Doug Lemov, author of Teach Like a Champion 2.0 and the new virtual teaching and learning 3.0 version, he believes that engagement equals participation and think ratio. Engagement does not exist without both high participation and think ratios. Let's look at this. So participation ratio. This is the measure of who participates and how often. Can I have someone read what it says in the box on the left? Thank you. The proportion of the class actively engaged in learning tasks, especially speaking or writing. Boosting the participation ratio builds hands-on interactions, confidence, and buy-in. It promotes a sense of shared ownership and identity. Thank you. So now let's look at the right side. What is think ratio? So think ratio is the level of rigor in the engagement you foster. All right. So it's not all about just how much engagement you provide for them to participate in, but the level of the rigor. Can I have someone from table 3 read what that says in the box? What it says in the box. Thank you. The depth of thinking students are doing. A high think ratio fosters rigor, autonomy, self-reliance, and critical thinking. Both of these are from Teach Like a Champion, Doug Lemov. All right, so let's look at this graphic. The goal for every learning experience should be maximum levels of intellectual rigor and participation to foster scholar engagement. Who can read again? What is the goal? Someone from table 8. To maximize learning through participation ratio and think ratio. That is what student engagement is. All right, this is the PLA Domain 4, Indicator 4.5, that targets what engagement looks, feels, sounds like, and the role of the teacher and the scholars. Take 30 seconds to read and review it. All right, who can read where it says instructional strategies? What is the teacher needing to do? Let me have someone from table 3. The teacher provides differentiated ways of engaging with content by incorporating a variety of learning levels, styles, backgrounds, interests, and skills to meet the individual scholar needs. 70 to 90% of instruction is differentiated and utilizes a variety of learning strategies. Okay, this is what the effective domain 4.5 looks like. This is what we are wanting, the level we want to be at, effective at a minimum. So let's look at the teacher critical attributes. Someone from table 4, read that for us. Thank you. Varies groupings productively to meet lesson objectives. Integrates different modalities and learning styles to engage the content. And creates learning tasks that have multiple correct approaches. Excellent. So these are some of the critical attributes that the teacher should be using. And then the last one, scholar critical attributes. This is what you want to see from the scholar. Let me have someone from table 3 read this. Thank you for volunteering. Have some choice in how to complete tasks, demonstrate active cognitive engagement versus passive, and have the opportunity to engage with content differently. All right, any thoughts or questions about this domain 4.5 and what the teacher should be doing to be rated effective, and and also just what the scholars should be doing? Okay, so now it's time to access your observation materials. We are going to visit Mrs. Jones's 4th grade classroom where they are currently learning science. You're going to review the following questions that may help to guide your thinking when you are in the classroom. We typically count how many scholars are in the room. However, there are approximately 25 total. So that's for you to be able to add into your notes, for which we will base our observational data. So a 17 out of 25 equals 72%, just to give you an idea, because that'll help with the determining factor for the rating. All right, so let's look at some of those engagement look-fors. You want to be able to determine how many scholars are participating. Remember, we have 25. You're going to pull out that notebook paper that you already made that T-chart on and divided between what the teacher is doing and what the scholars are doing. Is there an effective participation ratio? How deep is the thinking? Do the scholars experience brain strain? Is there effective think ratio? Is scholar learning building through scaffolding from high to low or low to high? And does instruction reflect a one-size-fits-all approach versus differentiated tasks, groups, etc.? All right, so you make sure you have your note-taking sheet that you created earlier. Just a reminder again, there are 25 scholars, and you are going to be trying to answer these questions through the notes that you are taking from the video of this classroom. Any questions on what you're doing? So you'll be recording what the teacher's doing and what the scholars are doing. And as a reminder, you will be looking for these things. As you do your notes, when you're done, you want to be able to answer, was there an effective participation ratio? How many scholars were participating? Is there an effective think ratio? All right, so these questions. This minute is 10 minutes long.
Okay, last week, can you tell me what you were building? What did we build with a bulb? What did we call it when you had some components?
A circuit?
You built a circuit, right. What were the components in a circuit that you built, Eric?
We had a switch, wires, a diesel, and a pole.
Good. And if you had a closed circuit, what happened? How could you tell you had a good circuit?
Because the bulb would light up.
The bulb would light up or the motor would go, right? Okay, today we are taking the information that you learned last week and we are going to make not just the old kind of connections that we had, not the simple kinds of connections that you were able, but you are going on to advanced connections, okay? Which means more wires, more components, more fun, right? You know, they use a lot of those connections, advanced connections in computer boards, don't they?
Yes.
And around your house, a lot of advanced connections. The connection we're going to look at today is the series circuit, okay? So we'll learn that vocabulary word. When we talk about series at the end, you should be able to tell me what a series circuit is and what happens when you build a series circuit. Are you ready to move on then? Oh yeah, okay. When you look at that picture, does it look familiar?
Yeah. No. No, not really.
What's different in this picture, Naomi? Okay, the energy source looks different, doesn't it? Does anything else look different?
The wires.
The wires, our wires are red, they are yellow. Are they still kind of doing the same job, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, William?
And the bulb is well, the bottom part of the bulb that holds it up. We usually have these red one, like just two clips right there in the white.
Emily, do you think, what do you think is happening here?
There's two wires on the top,
Uh-huh.
and that's the alternates. We have one wire on the top and one wire on the bottom. Oh, yeah. I know.
Emily, can you tell me what you just said in a little bit louder voice?
We put one wire on the top of the battery and one wire on the bottom, and they put both wires on the top.
Our batteries look different. What do you think, we call those poles on a battery? What do you think those poles represent?
Negative, positive.
Do you think there's still a positive and a negative there? Yeah. Why does there have to be a positive and a negative? Max?
So it can flow in through one side and out. It flows, energy flows in negative and out the positive.
I want you to remember that, okay? That the energy flows out of the negative and into the positive, okay? Kylie, what do we call that then? What shape? It's a circuit. And it's what shape? Kind of. It's kind of a circle. That helps us remember the word circuit, okay? I want to see if somebody can, we had another vocabulary word that we wanted to review, and that is the schematic, okay? Do you think you could draw a schematic that had a circuit with a bulb, a battery, and a switch in it in series? Josh, could you do that for me? Could you take a marker right here? And let's just review, because we're also going to need to remember how to do this. So you can just make it nice and big right here. What is something that we need to remember about a schematic? Malia?
It has to be square.
Okay, it has to have square corners.
And the corners have to
be sharp.
They have to be sharp. What's a math word for those corners?
Right angle.
Right angles, good. Naomi, were you going to say something else?
Straight line.
Straight lines, good. And what is Josh using? He's using some symbols there, isn't he? He is using straight lines. Does he have a bulb?
Yeah.
Does he have a battery?
Yeah.
Does he have a switch?
Yeah.
Would that light bulb light?
Yes. No.
Why wouldn't it light right now, Malia?
Because the switch isn't.
Okay, it's hard to tell if that switch is on or off, but that's where the switch would go, and that's where he could control. Otherwise, it would work, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would. Good. Okay, Josh, nice job with the schematic. I want you to remember the schematic for later on today, too. Got it? Okay. Perfecto. Okay. Here's the challenge for today. Can you get two bulbs to light at the same time?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe?
Probably. Yes. You touch them together and then put the wires.
You have to have 2 batteries.
You think you'd have to have 2 batteries, William?
I think you need 1 D cell, enough wire, and you need 3 wires. You need wires that connect in between the 2 bulbs.
Mm-hmm.
And so one I think would go out of the positive. I want to go out of the negative. One flow back to the positive. You would have to make another circle. Once one wire goes from the negative goes into that bulb, you need another wire connecting to the other light that's from that light. Electricity flows through that bulb and then goes all the way back.
You know what? You're doing a really good job of explaining that because you have that picture exactly in your mind, right? I know that you've got it. I want to see if the rest of you have it. Would you take out that sheet of paper that the second set?
Which one?
And it's the new one, right? It's got boxes on the front like this. And I'm wanting you to look at box 1. Does everybody have this side up? Box 1, I want you to make a prediction. Scientists make predictions about what they think is going to work. And in box 1, I'd like for you to draw a schematic of a circuit that you think would light 2 bulbs. Make think it would look like. And then like good scientists do after they make a prediction, we'll test it. Okay. Oh, interesting, Emily. Okay. Are you going to have, you want to just put both of those bulbs on the rectangle? Okay. You have a schematic that looks like it might light 2 bulbs. Does everybody have 2 bulbs in their schematic drawing of what they think? Okay, good. Good. I see that. You drew exactly what you talked about, didn't you? Good.
How's this?
I'm thinking it's going to be fun to see if that is going to work. Okay, scientists make predictions, and then what do they do?
Did you have to have a switch in there?
They're going to try to...
Did you have to have a switch?
Did you have to have a switch? Did I say you had to have a switch?
No.
No, I didn't. I'm going to have a getter from your group take a look at what we want. For your group, we want 2 bulbs in their holders, okay? 4 short wires, 1 switch, 1 circuit base right here, and 1 D cell. If you're a getter, where are you sitting?
No, right here. No, I'm the secretary.
These are getters.
Northeast,
Southwest.
southwest.
Where is Southwest? Oh, there you are, exactly right. Southwest getters, would you come and get the materials for your group? You can check. When you get the materials at your group then, I want you to build a 2-bulb circuit. Okay, and you can just put the switch right on here. Short wires right out here. Here, sweetie. Here's a switch.
Two of everything, or two.
You will, okay? That's it. Okay. Take a look at that circuit. You got two bulbs?
Something like this.
Okay. Whoopsie daisy, just gentle with that. There we go. Perfect.
And then
Pass it around so everybody gets a chance,
then
okay?
we should have about, I think we should have two bulbs by each other. Like,
Well, that would be good.
like add another wire so it's like that.
Let's put this one right here. Yeah, let's put this right there.
You want to open this until you get it going.
Okay, this to this.
Let's pull that out.
All right. Okay, this is for the in-person sessions. Since we just walked out of the classroom, you're going to stop and take the time to reflect on the following topics. Who was the participation high, ratio high? Was the think ratio high? What was one glow and what was one grow? So we're going to give you 2 minutes to do that. And was the participation ratio high? Was the think ratio high? And we'll share one glow and one grow. All right, we're going to give you 2 minutes to do that. Go ahead and get started. All right, I love how you took the time to quietly reflect on your own. Now we're going to do a turn and talk with with one of your colleagues there at the table. The person who will share first is the one who has the highest last 2 digits of their cell phone number. All right, and you're going to have 6 minutes to share, 3 minutes each on all 4 of these questions here. I'll put the timer on, 3 minutes each. All right, determine who has the highest last 2 digits of the phone number, and that person will go first. All right, get set, go. Okay, of course you would give them the entire time to do that. This next slide is for the virtual school to be able to do virtually. When you're doing the presentation, you want to make sure to skip the slide that doesn't apply to you. All right, so now we're going to review the observational evidence by using a pole movement strategy called takeoff, touchdown, as seen on your screen. You're going to stand if you agree, and you're going to sit if you do not agree. All right, are we ready? Move your chair so you're ready to be able to stand up. Remember, takeoff is standing, touchdown is sitting. Take off if your pair group agreed that the participation ratio was high, which means at least 72% or higher, 17 scholars or more. All right, awesome. Let's see who can share what your group came up with. I see the majority of you are standing up. You did take off. So at table 5, right here, this group, what did you all come up with? All right, awesome. What about this group at table 5? What did y'all come up with? Okay, great. All right, so what evidence did you have that led to your results? Now that you've shared your percentage, now I want you to share with me your evidence. Excellent. Now I have somebody sitting over here. Can you share why you think the ratio is low? And just a reminder, this is the first time you're probably doing this, and that's okay if you don't get it exactly right. We are giving you the opportunity to experience what will be happening when administrators come in your room. All right, everybody sit back down. Let's do another one. Take off if your pair group agreed that the think ratio was high. So this is now the think ratio. All right, let me have someone from table 6 that is standing up share what your think ratio was. Okay, and I have another group in table 6 that is standing up. What was your think ratio? All right, now tell me, what evidence did you have that led to your results? We'll go back to y'all again. What evidence did you have? All right, let's ask someone who is sitting from table 3. Why do you think the ratio was low? Okay, thank you so much. Just a reminder that this is a strategy that you can use in your classroom when you are teaching and want to have your scholars be engaged in an activity. And this is again called it's a pole movement strategy called takeoff, touchdown. All right, so what quick engagement strategies do you think would enhance learning the next day? What quick engagement strategies would enhance learning the next day? Let me have someone share what you think. Just, one or two things that you think of. All right, right there at the lady in the yellow at table 7. What can you share with us? All right, I like that. Good idea. Anybody else want to share? Let's see, the lady in blue at table 1. All right, good, good. Some good examples. Thank you so much for that. Well, here are some missed engagement opportunities. I'm going to read this so you can see that. So, the teacher down here at the bottom, to have scholars turn and talk in order to increase participation ratio and think ratio for each of the questions that were posed. And so you've seen us, you've been participating for, this is your second day and you've been able to do some turn and talks, right? That is a way to increase participation ratio, right? And some missed engagement opportunities for the scholars would be that they could have led a share out regarding what they remember and can recall from the prior week after seeing the picture. They could have had they could have had a quick write or a discussion. And I like that, one of you shared earlier that they could have done a turn and talk, right? And that would have really increased that participation ratio. Better chance of enhanced learning outcomes. All right, so now let's look at some of the feedback and feed forward that was given to the teacher. So glow, here's a glow that was given to the teacher. Solid practice with helping the scholars to recall previous information from last week, real world connections, creating scholar anticipation for rigorous work, which scholars were excited about, and great use of academic vocabulary and content clues for recall, like circle equals circuit. And you posed a variety of guiding questions that were closed-ended. Now, let's look at the grow that was provided for the teacher. And it's the grow, remember, is the bite-sized goal. Increase participation ratio. Include a strategy to permit scholars to have a discussion, a chalk talk based on the picture within their groups, and to use a timer to facilitate a scholar-led group discussion and whole class scholar-led review. This permits the teacher to see what they remember, and both the teacher and the scholars would be permitted to pose questions to other groups. How many of you had a similar grow? Raise your hand. Excellent, excellent. So let's look at some engagement strategies that the teacher could have used in her classroom. Foldables provide a great way to ensure 25 out of 25 participation think ratio opportunities. How many of you have ever done foldables before? Awesome. And the teacher is actually having them do it in their interactive notebook. And that way they have it to be able to go back and look at it at a later time. The foldable can be partnered with an engagement strategy such as the think, write, draw, pair, share to provide a great way to ensure that all of the scholars are participating and thinking. So here could be the graphic, the graphic organizer that you could use, the think, write or draw, pair, and then share. Whiteboards are always a favorite that can be used quickly to support high levels of participation ratio. It's a great way for you to get your scholars to put a response and then hold it up when you ask them to hold it up. For those, if you're using a computer, you can use a digital version, which is called whiteboard.fi, that enhances participation. The tour of knowledge gives scholars the opportunity to collaborate. They bring their thinking to their assigned group, jot their thoughts, and present to their classrooms, to their classmates as they carousel around the room. So here's what it looks like, the tour of knowledge. Scholars are given a chart paper and markers to document their thoughts. Classmates use a metacognitive marker like a check mark or a question mark or hearts to represent that they agree, have a question, or love an idea. And here's some step-by-step instructions. You can organize the students in groups of 3 to 4. You give them all a different colored marker. The teacher will post the 7 to 8 posters around the room. The groups have 3 to 4 minutes at each station to record what they know about the stimuli. And once they are given a signal, they rotate to the tour of knowledge poster, and they do step 4, which is they check mark information they agree with from another group, or they question mark something that they may think is incorrect and have a question about, or they can add new ideas. And then the teacher sees and hears the students thinking and clarifies and verifies as appropriate. Very fun activity to do. Differentiating the lesson to allow scholars to learn by doing is powerful. Perhaps introducing the lesson or the review via small group stations will be beneficial to increasing think ratio and engagement, as you see on this slide. So different learning stations for them to get to practice, because you learn by doing. All right, we are going to now have some reflection time. So I want you to take a minute silently to reflect on these questions, all right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions. Silently on a Post-it, put your answers and reflect. Go ahead and get started. All right, your minute is up. So now what we're going to do is have you turn and talk to your partner and discuss your responses. All right, so I'm going to give you 2 minutes to go ahead and respond to the answers and see if y'all agreed on the responses. Go ahead, find your partner, high five them, and go. Discuss your responses. All right, give me 5. Excellent. Thank you for joining me back here. Let's go over the first 2 together. True or false? The coaching cycle is a punitive observation. Is that true or false? False, definitely. Remember, it is non-punitive. It is an opportunity for you to become stronger as a teacher with the feedback that you're receiving. Number 2, true or false? The coaching cycle is in place to help teachers grow. True or false? True, exactly. Again, non-punitive helps you to grow as a teacher. Excellent. All right, that is it. Thank you so much for your participation in this session. We hope that you have at least an introduction as far as understanding of what the coaching cycle is. You will continue to learn more about it as you engage in the coaching cycle and are able to see your feedback. Thank you so much.